Life cannot be contained. Life breaks free. Life finds a way.
So we started this episode talking about Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
Also released in 2018, another sort of high-profile, big-budget sequel.
Yep.
Was Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yep.
Now, the first Jurassic World was a fairly divisive, although financially successful movie.
It was a good time at the movies. I enjoyed it for what it was.
I think it's a fine, 3, maybe 3.5 star adventure movie. It doesn't, sniff the shoes of Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
but it's passable. But people seem to be agreed on Fallen Kingdom that this was a substantial step down.
Yep.
I've talked about the director J.A. Bayona in the past. I am a huge champion of his disaster film The Impossible that got unfairly dismissed.
Yep.
It's so fucking good.
Yep.
He also did this movie called A Monster Calls about children dealing with grief that has a big giant tree monster voiced by Liam Neeson, which is, I think, a really good movie, but maybe a little bit too hard for kids.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit too fantastical for adults.
Yeah.
Which is to say it's a movie that hit me really strongly, but maybe nobody else. And, of course, he's involved with the new Lord of the Rings TV show, which everyone is writing off as this toxic, woke bullshit. And I get so tired of hearing that and hearing the arguments about it. You already got the most epic fantasy trilogy in film fucking history for Lord of the Rings. Let them try something. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know.
And I just get tired of people picking on J.A. Bayona. So part of me came into this movie wanting it to be good, not just as a Jurassic Park fan, but as he's given the reins of this. And I'm gonna say, I think he directed the fucking shit out of this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he did a really good job.
Yep.
These are not easy movies to make.
Yep.
I'm going to say that almost every single problem that I'm going to point out, and I am going to point out several, has to do with the screenplay.
Absolutely.
It's not the creatures, it's not the dinosaurs,
Nope.
It's not the special effects,
Nope.
It's not the characters,
No.
It's not the performances, and it is definitely not the direction. There's some hard scenes to sit through in the screenplay.
Yeah.
And there's just no way around it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a director in the world that would have been able to necessarily... Maybe they could shoot them in a more fabulous way, but there's just certain dead points in the picture.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pretend otherwise.
Yeah.
But I'm carrying on this weird analogy of this trilogy of dinosaur movies and comparing it to the original. And in that way, this snugly actually fits next to The Lost World for me, the Spielberg sequel to Jurassic Park, because I feel similarly about this movie as I do to The Lost World.
That is a very fair comparison, yes.
I think there's amazing shit in The Lost World.
Yep.
But all in all, I just don't think it's a great movie. And by the third act, it's almost fallen apart completely.
Yep.
But I've watched that movie a lot of times.
Yep.
Talking about Fallen Kingdom, by the time we get to the third act, this thing's almost fallen apart completely.
Yep.
But I think of these three movies, this will be the one I'll be the most inclined to revisit, at least to watch the highlight reel. Because Beckmann, I gotta say, that opening sequence in this movie is amazing.
Yep.
And the clearing of the island and the erupting of the volcano and the collecting of the velociraptor off of the island, all of that worked pretty fucking well for me.
Yep.
And by the time the movie started getting bad, it had already been good enough that I liked the movie.
Okay.
So, I'm a defender of Fallen Kingdom. Maybe a big defender of Fallen Kingdom.
Not surprised.
I I defend Jurassic Park 3, and a lot of people hate that movie.
I don't
too.
hate it. I appreciate what it is.
I have a 12-year-old boy locked inside this 47-year-old body that just enjoys watching people get eaten by dinosaurs.
Yeah.
In the same way people can dismiss this movie, and I understand it, because I dismiss all those Transformers movies. Mm-hmm. And these are definitely guilty of what the Transformers movies are, as being multi-billion-dollar moneymakers, but not great films.
Yeah.
But I don't particularly get off on transforming robots.
Yeah.
I do get off on people getting eaten by dinosaurs.
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you, if you want to watch people get eaten by dinosaurs, you're going to get your money's worth out of Fallen Kingdom.
Yep. It's
a 3-star, maybe a 2.5-star movie.
Okay.
But the spectacle is there.
Mm-hmm.
And I largely have a smile on my face. Even when it gets goofy, it's just like, I never thought I would see this in the Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
So, I know that I'm in a minority opinion here, but everybody needs to be nicer to Fallen Kingdom, and as a rule, to J.A. Bayona. Yeah. Because this guy knows what the fuck he's doing.
No, you can tell that a talented filmmaker made this big budget movie. I have never, especially out of just sort of a monster movie, start off so well. And I will agree with you that probably has the best opening to a Jurassic Park movie since the original.
Yeah.
That whole sequence, in the water, the homage to Jaws and the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Really well done. And yes, everything on Ilsa Nunbar, the island, it starts off so amazingly well and then slowly goes downhill to the point where I was telling the movie to fuck off. And it really is about a couple of choices made at the end. And I will agree, almost everything at the big mansion house frustrates me so much. And I like Geraldine Chaplin. I like James Cromwell. I like a lot of the actors in it. But it feels so much like a different movie. And I think, yes, we're going to have the whole science and capitalism don't mix theme that is ever present in the novels. But it really needs to stay on the island. I really do think if you're going to make a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movie, we've seen it once before where they leave the island and there's something so deeply off.
Or even if you're not going to focus on the island, you focus on the dinosaurs. Anytime they go to, is it Rafe Spall? I'm trying to... Yeah. Rafe Spall and his conniving and behind the scenes, or the little girl sneaking around the mansion, or James Cromwell, and even Toby Jones playing this Trumpian dude who's helping auction off these things. Anytime there's a dialogue scene between those, you can actually feel the movie stop.
Yeah.
But then we also get the creature reaching its claws into this little girl's bedroom.
Yeah, there's a couple of sequences in the climax that it's so well done, and it almost seems like it's out of the orphanage.
What's I can't remember the name of the dinosaur with the huge bone crown on his head that they bully into breaking him out.
Ramosaurus? I don't know.
No. But they bully this dinosaur into breaking them out of the jail. I thought that was kind of an amusing scene.
Yeah.
And they show all these rich snobs auctioning off these man-eating dinosaurs, so when the dinosaurs are unleashed on them, we don't care about any of the carnage that's happening. Yeah. We don't get to see it because it's still a PG movie, but Chris Pratt suddenly fighting these action figure security guards with these electro swords, and it's like a Star Wars movie for a second. Yeah. What is happening?
Yeah. I do want to take this time also to talk about another Kohlhauser Award winner, Ted I Make Bad Choices Levine.
It's just collecting dinosaur teeth,
Yeah. I do love his death scene. It's just he cries.
He's a great Jurassic World villain. They establish him right away. We don't like him right away. He's shitty to the characters that we like. He, tranquilizes the main character, Chris Pratt, and is very belligerent, and he's pulling teeth out of dinosaurs. And as far as a grisly death in a PG movie, he watches his arm get swallowed, and then the dinosaur kind of leans down face to face, and he has this big pouty, it's fantastic. I love me some Ted Levine.
Yeah,
And yes,
no.
it's definitely death by bad decision making. And
I appreciate Ted Levine. I do. Whenever I see him, and he's made a long list of movies from like Heat to like that awful Jean-Claude Nowhere to Run.
honestly, if I could be in this movie, if someone was offering me a part in this movie,
Yeah.
that's the part that I want in this movie. Like,
That character looks. I love the fact that he
fucking
just
great.
everything is almost so beneath him. Like, he's like, all right, I'll tranquilize Chris Pratt.
But
Bork.
I wouldn't take the job away from Ted Levine
No.
because he did it way better than
Oh
I
yeah,
ever
no,
would have.
but he
like,
looks.
He's a great character,
Yeah.
and the payoff of his death is delicious for both us and the dinosaur.
His character, I just love the fact his character is like, he feels like he's so beneath all these shitty actions he's doing. It's just like, all right.
Yeah.
It just adds, it almost has this like Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber kind of performance to it. Not that, I do think obviously Rickman's performance is maybe miles better, but it just has this, I've done this before and I'm so bored by it, but I'm getting paid, let's get the job done sort of vibe that I appreciate as a villain.
Yeah. Another complaint that's levied against the movie that I want to defend is that it says that it doesn't respect the awe and the sort of majesty of the dinosaurs anymore. There's
Sure.
no impact to seeing them. Like the movie opens and the dinosaurs are there.
Yeah.
The reveal of the T-Rex is in a flash of lightning and we see a chase sequence before we've even got comfortable in our seats.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remind everyone that this is the 5th Jurassic Park movie.
Yep.
Like, we know what the T-Rex looks like. We know we don't need the grand entrance for every character. We don't need that. Like, I think getting into the story as quickly as possible, that's, again, another analogous thing to The Lost World.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people complained, especially the kids, that Jurassic Park took too long to get cooking.
Sure.
So with The Lost World, they're like, Jeff Goldblum is going to this island and there's dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Boom, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's where this movie is like, they're on the island being chased by dinosaurs right now.
Yeah.
What did you come here to see, people?
Yep.
You came here to see dinosaurs. And I think if they would have wasted time showing the point of view of the T-Rex and then maybe slowly revealing it as a shadow kind of lifted off of it, or it was revealed as it stepped into the clearing, it's like, we've been here.
Yeah.
I've never seen it just all of a sudden be right behind a guy because it's raining so loud that he couldn't even hear the approach of a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was... And it's not even particularly gutsy as far as I'm concerned. This is the 5th one. We have seen these dinosaurs.
Yep.
So I think people could have been nicer about that.
I also will agree on one of your theories that, and I know there's going to be more Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movies going
For sure.
forward. Stop putting kid characters in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's even more punctuated, and we're going to skip to the ending. And spoilers. I mean, I know they had to have connected tissue between this and whatever the next Jurassic Dominion. The choice by the kid character who surprises a clone, which is a surprise to no one.
No.
Is she's watching all these dinosaurs about to be poisoned, and even though I'm sure the other actors could have stopped her, she decides to set them free and essentially doom millions and millions of people to death. And not since Escape from LA has there been a choice by her character that's
So irresponsible.
so irresponsible and so maddening.
Yeah.
I can buy it in LA because there's a little bit of screw you, Snake Plissken, but I do concede that, oh no, he did sort of condemn a whole lot of people to die. Where this, like, it's such an annoying choice that it made me go, no.
Yeah.
No. And this is where it really hurts with this movie. Because I do agree that there's half of this movie that is, entertaining as a popcorn film with really made sequences. And yes, even the chase sequence in the mansion, which is, I think, one of the reasons why they got Boyega to do this movie. Because there seemed a lot of...
He did the orphanage
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
And it just seems that even aesthetically that there's a lot of stuff there, but it made me growl so much that I walked, I think, out of the theater and went, no. I was so disappointed. It just, like I said, I'd never seen a movie, at least a monster movie, that started off so well that by the end I left grumpy, and I think that's when that really hurts.
Well, it leaves
Fallen
you on
Kingdom.
that sour. There's the double punch too. There's both her releasing the dinosaurs, but I think the problem isn't that she releases the dinosaurs, but that she's not judged harshly for it.
Yeah.
There's something that passes between Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard where you can tell that they're like, this is going to cause problems, but
Yeah.
they're not like, what the hell did you just do, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like the movie's trying to give her a pass. And I think the image of the T-Rex and the lion roaring at each other was just too far. Like,
Yeah.
that was pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
And those two scenes back to back are what led people out of the theater.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that's why the attitude or the opinion about the movie was so low.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking about the first 10 minutes of the movie, which was fucking amazing.
Yep.
They were thinking about the last 10 minutes, which was just trying to set up a third movie that they didn't even have an idea about yet.
There's a quote, and I think I've even said it on this podcast, and Ridley Scott said it. It can take just one scene to really damage your movie, and I do kind of wonder if that's kind of the problem with Fallen Kingdom, where there's, like I said, as a popcorn movie, it is very well constructed. There's just writing choices that make me go, no! And that's the
and
same sort of
it's-
thing with even with the Gordon Green's Halloween.
Always gonna fall short of greatness.
Yeah.
Because, well, they say to make a great movie, you need 3 great scenes and no bad ones.
Yeah.
And this movie has bad scenes.
Yeah.
It does.
It does.
But it also has good scenes. And
Yep.
I don't think they get enough credit when people talk about Fallen Kingdom. I think it's starting to change now because of Dominion's quality.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is a train wreck. I really don't. It's really popular to pick on big budget Hollywood fare like this. But like I said at the beginning, I don't think this is an easy movie to make.
Yeah.
And I think that there are some beats in it that are as strong as any Jurassic Park movies. But unfortunately, there's also beats that are as weak.
Yeah.
So you need to sort of concentrate that goodness and not strafe to the left or right. And then you have Jurassic Park. But that movie is a one-of-a-kind thing, man. And they've tried 5 times to repeat the recipe. And they've never come close.
And they never will.
But I've had a lot of fun watching them try. I admit.
There you go. There you go.
Is that good enough?
Good enough.